Okay, in this video, I'm going to cover grade 7 mathematics for the STAAR test, which was released in May 2021. And for this test, I'm doing part 2. And you can check part 1 on the playlist if you haven't seen that already. And so part 2 is going to cover from problems 14 to 27. And we'll explain those in detail. This is, again, grade 7 mathematics for the STAAR test from 2021, part 2, numbers 14 to 27. Just to review, you have grade 7 mathematics formula chart, reference materials. You'll have linear equations, circumference, area of a triangle, rectangle, or parallelogram, trapezoid, circle. Circle is pi r squared. Make sure you're familiar with these. The volume of a prism is V equals BH. B is the area of the base, and the pyramid is 1/3 of that. And then there's additional information for pi, distance, simple interest, and compound interest. Also, on the next page, you have length in customary and metric, miles to yards and yards and feet, feet to inches, and volume and capacity also in customary and metric, and weight and mass in customary and metric. And you provided also a ruler in centimeters so that you could measure if you need to measure with that. Okay, so the first problem in this section is number 14, and a student in a foreign language program learns 15 words, new words per week, and each graph represents the relationship between X, the number of weeks that the student has been in the program, and Y, the total number of new words the student has learned. So 15 new words each week. So after 1 week, 15 words. So we're going to look for 1 week, 15 words. And for 2 weeks, we're going to look for 30, and so on. For 3 weeks, 15 more. So it's 15 each week, so that would be 15 plus 30, that would be 45. So we need a graph here where we look at the number of weeks. So 1 week, this could be 15. 2 weeks, that's 30. 3 weeks, that's 45. So it looks like this could be the possible correct answer. But before we do that, we need to rule out the other answers. Let's see. Here, 1 week is 10, and 2 weeks is 20, and 3 weeks is 30, so that's not correct. For G, at 1 week, it's already up at 60, and 2 weeks is off the chart. That's not going to work. And for J, 1 week is less than 10. It takes 4 weeks to learn 10 words. That is not correct. So answer F is the correct answer for number 14. On number 15, we have a survey that was conducted to determine the food choices of the 80 students at a picnic. So we have 80 students at a picnic, and the types of picnic foods are shown in the circle graph. So you have sandwich 20%, pizza 30%, salad 10%, hamburger 15%, and hot dogs 25%. Based on the circle graph, how many more students chose pizza than students who chose salad? Well, pizza is 30% and salad is 10%. And so obviously students prefer pizza over salad by 20% difference. So if there's 80 students and we want to know how many had pizza, preferred pizza, so we multiply 80 times 0.30. 30% is 0.30. And that's going to be 8 times 3 is 24. 30% is exactly 24. You could multiply 8 times 3 and get 24, and then the percent cancels with the 2 zeros. We'll do something similar with the 10%. So 80 for the salad times 10%, and we have 8 times 1, that's 8. So 10% of 80 is exactly 8. And when we subtract 24 minus 8, that gives you 16. So for number 15, it looks like the answer here is 16. So the answer was B. So 16 more students would choose pizza over those who ate salad. Number 16, the greatest weight a moving truck can carry is 1,600 pounds. So this is the maximum right here. Not more than 1,600, but less than, up to 1,600 pounds. The truck is loaded with a piano that weighs 400 pounds and boxes that weigh 50 pounds each will be loaded into the truck. So which inequality represents all possible values of x, which is the number of these boxes? So it depends on the number of boxes, okay? So each box weighs 50 pounds. So we know that it has to be less than 1,600. So it could be this one here, less than or equal to 1,600. It could be this one here, less than or equal to 1,600. It cannot be this one, more than 1,600. It cannot be that one. So we're going to rule out those two. And so it's either F or H. So we have a piano, that's a fixed amount. So we're going to have 400 for the piano, plus depending on the number of boxes. And each box weighs 50 pounds. So X is the number of boxes. So 50 times X will tell you how much that is. So it's 400, a fixed amount, plus a variable, because 50 times X, we don't know how many you have for the number of boxes. So look for an answer that has 400 plus 50x or 50x plus 400, and the answer here is F. 50x plus 400 has to be less than or equal to 1,600. Less than or equal to 1,600. And that was the answer, F. For number 18, the owner of a bookstore buys used books from customers for $1.50 each. The owner resells the used books for 400% of the amount he paid them. He paid for them. So 150 times 400%. 400% is 400 divided by 100, which is exactly 4. So 1.50 times 4 is $6. So the answer here should be $6. For number 19, a pentagon FGHJK is similar to a larger pentagon MPQST. So they're similar. So whenever you see similar, that means that they're going to be proportional. So we're going to have a proportion here. 6 is to 9 as 9 is to x. So we have 6 is to 9 as 9 is to x. 9 is to x. And over here we have 6 is to 9. So 6 is to 9 is 9 is to x. 6 over 9 is equal to 9 over x. Now, you can do a cross product to multiply this out. You can also reduce 6 over 9. You can reduce 6 over 9 by 3. So that would be a 2, and this would be a 3. Since 3 goes into 6 2 times, so 6 over 9 is 2/3. So now you can multiply 3 times 9, that's 27, and that's equal to 2 times x, that's 2x. So if 2x is 27, then what you do is divide by 2 on both sides, divide this by 2, and divide this by 2. 27 divided by 2, half of 27 is 13.5. So the answer here should be A, 13.5. For number 20, you have an equation represents the relationship between x and y. So you have a line that is going down from left to right, that's decreasing, and that's the negative slope. And if it's going up from left to right, that would be increasing. So this would have a positive slope, and this would have a negative slope. And we're talking about slope is the rate of change. So in this problem here, you're going to have a negative, either negative 1/2 or a negative 2. So it could be either this one or this one, but I don't think it can be that one or that one, because those would be going up left to right. So if you pick a point at 0, here, it goes up to 3, and both have that. So for answer G, if x is 0, the value of y is 3, and so is h. Let's pick another point. If x is 1, right here, if x is 1, y is 1. So if x is 1, y should be 1. So if you look at answer H, y is equal to negative 2x plus 3. If x is 1, we're going to have negative 2 plus 3. That will give us 1. So when x is 1, y is 1. That works. So it should be answer H. So for number 20, the answer was H. Number 21, a container in the shape of triangular prism is used to hold a slice of pizza. The dimensions of the container are shown in the diagram. And so we have a pizza. Hit the like button if you like pizza, or just put a comment, say, I like pizza. I want to see how many students are watching this, they like pizza. Now, it turns out that this pizza, this slice is a triangular shape, and it's 1.5 inches in thickness. So that's a lot of cheese right there, 1.5 inches high. And what we need to do is to find the volume. If we look at our reference formula chart, the volume for this would be, a triangular prism would be the area of the base times the height. Well, it turns out that the base here is actually this right here. It's a triangle. It has a triangular base. That's why it's called a triangular prism. And so we need to find the area of the base, which is the area of a triangle. So if you look at the formula chart for the area of a triangle, it's 1/2 base times height. So capital B, the area of the base, is the same thing as 1/2 this base, which is 10.8, times the height. This is 10.8, the base of the triangle, times the height, which is 7.2. So we're going to multiply 1/2 of 10.8 times 7.2. And that's going to give you the area of the base. And then that's a B. And then we need to multiply by the height, which is 1.5. And that is a lot of multiplying. You can multiply these out. And I'm looking at the answer choices. And you can actually multiply those out, or you can do a little approximation. 1/2, instead of 10.8, we could use 11. And for 7.2, we could use 7. So we're going to have 77 divided by 2. That's 38.5. That's the area of the base. And then we need to multiply that by 1.5. So 38.5 times 1.5. So 5 times 5 is 25, carry a 2, 42, carry a 4. 5 times 3 is 15, plus the 4 that we carried is 19. 1 times 5, 1 times 8, 1 times 3. And then we wind up adding these. And we're going to, this would be 5, 7, 8, 9, 17, carry 1, 4 and 1 is 5. So about 58. So the closest answer to that is A, 58. Remember that I rounded off 10.8, I rounded off to the nearest integer, which is 11, and 7.2, I rounded to the nearest integer, which is 7. And so I got 38.5. So I know that my answer, this is an approximate answer, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the answer closest to 58. 57.75 is close to 58, so the answer is A. Now, you could multiply 10.8 here times the 7.2, and then times 0.5 or 1/2, and then multiply that by 1.5. It's a little bit longer. You'll still get 58.32. That would be the exact answer. So in this case, it's up to you if you want to round off a little bit or just multiply it out. I think myself, if I'm taking this test, I'm going to round off just a little bit. 10.8 is pretty close to 11, and 7.2 is pretty close to 7. So this is my approximate values that I rounded off to get to this answer. Number 22. Hey, where's the answers? There's no answer here. Oh, it's not multiple choice. This is a type of answer that you have to work out and then bubble in on your answer document. And there is no multiple choice here. Hector paid $105 for 6 tickets to a hockey game. Each ticket cost the same amount. So these are equal amounts. What was the cost of each ticket in dollars and cents? Well, 105 has to be divided by 6. So $105 divided by 6. 6 goes into 10 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. And then we subtract. 10 minus 6 is 4. And then bring down the 5. 6 goes into 45. 6 times 7 or 8. 7 times 6 is 42. So let's try 7. 7 times 6 is 42. And we subtract. So we have 3. And then bring down the next 0. 6 into 30 is 5. 5 times 6 is 30. And then bring down your 0. $17.50 is going to be your answer. $17.50 will be your answer for this one. Number 23. The table shows the numbers of different types of pies sold at a bakery during one day. Based on the results in the table, which statement about the pies sold at this bakery during 1 week is not true? So we're looking for one that is not true. So that means we're looking for one that is false. So in this type, you're going to have 1 false, and you're going to have 3 statements that are true. So we need to go through each one of these and see which is true and which is false. Answer A, it is 2 times as likely for a chocolate pie to be sold as a lemon pie. Lemon pie is 4 and chocolate is 8. So that looks like a true statement. So we're going to say that one is true. So there's more chocolate being sold than lemon, 2-to-1 ratio. So it is correct. Answer B says it is equally likely for apple or pecan pie to be sold as a chocolate pie. So you have apple and pecan right here, 5 and 3. That's 8. So these two together is 8. And chocolate is also 8. So it is equally likely for an apple or pecan, either one, could be sold just like it is a chocolate pie. That is true because they're both 8. That would be true. For part C, it is more likely for an apple or lemon pie to be sold than a pecan or chocolate. Well, pecan or chocolate, you're going to have 3 and 8, that's 11 for pecan and chocolate. And apple and lemon, apple was 5 and lemon was 4. 5 plus 4 is 9. So this is the apple and lemon, and 11 was for the pecan and chocolate. And so that doesn't sound right to me. It is more likely for an apple or lemon to be sold than a pecan or chocolate. Pecan and chocolate, you're selling 11, and apple and lemon, you're only selling 9. That looks like a false statement, so it looks to me like it could be C. Let's check out D just to make sure. It is less likely for a pecan pie to be sold than a lemon pie. Well, pecan is 3 and lemon is 4, so 3 is less than 4, so it is true. So this would be true. So you have 3 of the 4 statements are true. one is false, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for one that is not true. We're looking for one that is false, and it happens to be C. 23, the answer was C. A student ran a distance of 3.5 miles each day for 5 days. Then the student ran 4.25 miles each day for the next 5 days. What was the total distance in miles during these 10 days? So we have to multiply 3.5 each day for 5 days. So you're going to have 3.5 times 5. So that'd be 3.5. There's different ways of doing this, but you could do 3.5, 3 plus 1/2, and each of those times 5, which would be 3 times 5 plus 1/2 times 5. So 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1/2 of 5, 5 divided by 2, that's 2.5. So the total there will be 17.5. That's for the first 5 days. Okay, and now 4 1/4 each day for the next 5 days, you would have 4 1/4 times 5. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do 4 times 5 plus 1/4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20. And 4 goes into 5 one time, and you have remainder 1, 1 and 1/4. So 1/4 of 5 is 1 and 1/4. So when we add those together, we get 21 and 1/4. So I have to add 21 and 1/4 with the 17.5. So I have 17.5, which by the way is 2/4. 1/2 is 2/4. And I'm going to add that to 21 and 1/4. So that's 3/4. If I add 2/4 and 1/4, that's 3/4. 17 plus 30 plus 21 is going to be 38. So it looks like the answer should be G, 38 and 3/4. Now, in this example, some students would prefer to work with decimals instead of fractions, and it would work the same thing. So 3.5 is 3.5. So you could take 3.5. Let me go ahead and multiply 3.5, 3.5 times 5. And so you would multiply 5 times 5 is 25, carry 2. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2. So that's 17.5 miles. And then the 4 and 1/4, that's 4.25. 0.25 is 1/4. And multiply that by 5. And you're going to have 5 times 5 is 25, carry a 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, carry a 1. 5 times 4 is 20, plus the 1 is 21. So that's 21.25. And I'm going to add the 17.5. So I now have 5, 7, 8, 3. So 38.75 is the same thing as 38 and 3/4, since 3/4 is 0.75. So let me know if you like this one better. You could do it this way. And if you like using fractions, you could do it the other way. Either way, you get the same answer. On number 25, use a ruler provided from your formula chart, reference chart, to measure the radius of the circle to the nearest ½ centimeter. And so from here to here, the nearest ½ centimeter, and if you measure that, it's pretty close to about 3.5 centimeters. And then what we want to find is the closest to the area in square centimeters. And so in your formula chart, it says that area is equal to pi r squared, where pi is 3.14. And r is the radius, which is in this case 3.5. So we have to multiply 3.14 for pi times 3.5 since we're going to square, we got to multiply 3.5 times 3.5. So I'm going to multiply first 3.5 times 3.5. 5 times 5 is 25, carry a 2, 15 plus 2 is 17. 3 times 5 is 15, carry a 1, 9 plus 1 is 10. And then we're going to add these here. And so we're going to have 5 here, 7 plus 5 is 12, carry a 1, that would be 2. So if you move over 2 decimal places, it's going to be 12.25. That's r squared. 3.5 times 3.5 is 12.25. Pi is 3.14, so I have to multiply that times 3.14. And that comes out to be a lot of multiplication. So what I'm going to do, since we want the closest, because remember the 3.5 is an approximate value, the answers are not that close. I'm going to say, what if this was 12? And what if this was a 3? 12 times 3 is 36. But since I rounded down to 12 and I rounded down to 3, my answer should be a little bit more than 36. So the answer should be some number greater than 36, maybe 37, 38, something like that. There's an answer here, 38.47. Now, if you prefer to multiply 12.25 times 3.14, you're going to get an answer pretty close to 38.5 or 38.47. All I know is that the answer has to be more than 36 because I did 12 times 3 is 36. You can do it this way as an approximate value, or you can multiply it out, or you can do both and check it out. Okay, number 26. A student will spin 2 spinners in an experiment. The tree diagram shows all possible outcomes of the experiment. So he could get on spinner 1 either 1, 2, or 3. On spinner 1, if he gets a 1, he could get on spinner 2 an R, or he could get a T, or he could get a Z. And on spinner 2, he could get an R, or maybe he could get a T, or he could get Z, and so on. So for spinner 3, he could get 3 and then an R, or a 3 and then a T, or he could come up with a 3 and then a Z. So there's 9 possible outcomes when he spins on spinner 1 and spinner 2. So if you look at answer F, 1 R, 1 T, 1 Z, 2 with R, 2 with T, 2 with Z, 3 R, 3 T, that looks like the correct answer. All these others don't really make sense. So answer F was the correct answer. Okay, the last one for this part, for part 2. 2 stores are having sales on cameras. At store X, they're on sale at 15% off of the original price. And on store Y, they're 1/5 off. And in case you didn't know, that 1/5 is actually 20%. So he's going to get a better deal at store Y. Which store would have the better sale price for a camera with an original price of $80? Okay, so what you're going to have to do is take 15% off or take 1/5 off the $80 and see which one has a better price. So if we take 80 minus 15% of 80, okay, and then we take 80 minus 1/5 of 80. 1/5 of 80 is 16, so 80 minus 16 is $64. And 15% of 80 is $12. 80 minus 12 would be 68. So this one here has a better deal if you can pay 64. So store Y has the better price because you would be paying $64. Store X has a higher price because that's 68. There's no way that's a better deal. So that's it for this part, and make sure that you subscribe. And if you like the video, hit the like button. And then part 3 will be coming up later on. Thanks.